But we are about to crown a champion in the NCAA volleyball tournament for the year 2020. The Washington Huskies. You can't keep a good dog down. They're seeded number 6. The Pac-12 champions are into this first semifinal against the number 2 seed, Kentucky Wildcats. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Wonderful to be here. I'm Paul Sunderland and Salim. I've seen a lot of you over the last 10 days. Really nice to be in your presence, as you will. And 3-time All-American setter at Penn State. You know an awful lot about a key position throughout this tournament, of course. There are 4 All-American setters representing all of our semifinalists. Talk about the 2 play callers we're going to see in our first semi.
Well, I tell you what, we have 2 of the best setters in the nation in this match tonight. You're going to see Madison Lilly from Kentucky, who runs the most efficient offense in the country and can keep them in system no matter where the ball is. LMA Powell has been the heart and soul of this Washington team, leading them through a grueling 5-set match, 3 grueling 5-set matches to get here to this national semifinal.
The incomparable Holly Rowe is with us once again at the NCAA volleyball tournament. Wouldn't be a tournament without you, Holly. This has been a special place for a particular Washington setter and coach.
That's right. LMA Powell actually committed to Washington just a few steps away on a court here in Omaha at the Convention Center 3 years ago. Keegan Cook said she's the missing piece that will get us back on this stage, and wouldn't you know it, just a few steps away, here they are in this moment. And for Kentucky, they have the National Player of the Year. Madison Lilly becomes the first SEC player ever to be named National Player of the Year. She is the setter for the Wildcats, and her coach says, we show her about 10 clips before the match. We tell her some specifics, but I always tell her at the end of the day, set what you feel, and you will see she has impeccable IQ and feel for this game.
Thank you, Holly. Great to be with you once again. And speaking of the Kentucky offense, including tournament matches, ranked number 1 in the country in terms of offensive efficiency, hitting a blistering 362 so far on the year. As the higher seed, Kentucky will be in their home white uniforms, and Washington will serve first. Samantha Drexel, the 6'4" senior out of Woodinville, Washington, first team All-Pac-12, first team All-American, plays right side opposite the setter, and she will get things started. Capacity allowable during the course of these semifinals and finals coming up on Saturday, 4,000 at the CHI Health Center here in Omaha, Nebraska, and we're underway. And immediately an unforced error off the right side. Good pass, but just not a connection there. That was missed by Elise Getzinger, outstanding freshman out of Blue Mounds, Wisconsin. First look over the top of the block. There's a sister pair, Avery Skinner wearing number 4 in white, 6'1" senior out of Katy, Texas. Her younger sister, Maddie Skinner, also in the lineup, one of the top freshmen in the country, Salim.
Well, we're going to see both of those players used a lot this evening. Prepare to hear their names over and over again.
First look at Lilly. Serving and passing, of course, essential to success. And both teams going to be going at one another in a nice play. Off the right side, good high flat shot by number 2. That is Maddie Skinner.
I tell you, Maddie Skinner has come on in a major way for this Kentucky team this year.
Both teams passing the ball pretty well and nice off speed. Good choice off the perimeter that time by Ensley, the outstanding freshman. Maddie Ensley, 6'2" freshman out of Temecula, California. She was the number 23 recruit nationally coming in, and she has certainly lived up to that. She was first team, Pac-12 all freshman team. Emma Calais will play some defensive specialist and serve. Drexel on the cover of the tip, but you saw that ball spinning out of her hands, and that'll be a double contact called against number 9 in purple for the Washington Huskies. 20-3 on the year. They've won 9 in a row. Kentucky, the number 2 seed, 19-1 in the SEC, 22-1 now overall. Raya Walker, defensive specialist out of Sarasota, Florida, on to serve for Kentucky. First look at Allie Stumler, All-American for Kentucky, off the block and off the swing, but dug by Washington. And Keegan Cook in his 6th year, the head coach for Washington, told us that that was one of the key points, transition scoring. There is Keegan Cook, this year the Pac-12 Coach of the Year. In his 6th season, he's won 3 Pac-12 championships. Maria Bogomolova, 6'1" senior out of St. Petersburg, Florida, who has certainly put her handprints and her serving ability on this tournament. And on the overpass, we're going to have a violation. That's back row blocker called against Madison Lilly. Explain, Salima, what happened in that particular exchange.
Well, it looked like that ball was on top of the net and crossed the plane. If she's in the back row and that ball breaks that plane, crosses the plane of the net, Madison Lilly cannot go over and reach and bring it back. And she will get called for being a back row setter.
Nice dig by Bogomolova. Oh, but it's a lack of communication there. You don't see that from teams at this level. That was a really good dig by their serving and defensive specialist, who will head back to the sideline. If you've been following the tournament, Bogomolova served 7 straight points when Washington was trailing Louisville 11-5 in the 5th set. She now could run for mayor of Seattle and governor of the state of Washington. Even though she's a Russian citizen, I think she could still win. Gabby Curry, 3 times Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC. Nice block. And on the slide, beautiful kill that time by Marin Grote, 6'4" junior out of Burbank, California.
I tell you, look at that move that she makes on the block first. It's a nice cover on the Kentucky side of the net, but to transition and get behind on that slide, that takes a lot of skill, a lot of work. Nice job by Marin Grote there on the slide.
Grote hit 357 so far on the year, and establishing the slide. Azani Teeler, nice play defensively. Oh, ripped down the line. Beautiful play by Maddie Skinner. No relation, but an interesting story. There is Craig Skinner, now in his 16th year, the winningest coach in the history of Kentucky volleyball. 4 times the SEC Coach of the Year, and for the first time ever, congratulations, Craig Skinner, AVCA National Coach of the Year. Lauren Tharp, 5'6" junior out of Louisville, on to serve for the Wildcats into the top of the tape. What have you seen so far from either team in terms of nerves, big stage?
Well, you know, right now I think both teams are serving relatively okay, but I think they could both serve tougher, and that's tough. You don't want to come out here and start bombing balls and missing serves. But I like the way Washington is picking up the tip. They were practicing that in their serve pass in their practice, working on controlling that ball so they can continue to transition out of that. That's a big part of their plan for tonight.
Beautiful swing by the All-American Allie Stumler, 6'1" junior out of Floyd's Knob, Indiana, having a magnificent tournament, hitting 395 in terms of efficiency in the 3 matches that got the Wildcats into their first ever national semifinal. Drexel is blocked by the high-flying Azani Teeler, a 5'10" middle blocker in 2021.
I tell you, it's so fun to watch her play. She moves so well laterally and so fast. Look at her get over the net and press, and she is high above the net. So even though she's 5'10", that doesn't really even matter.
Drexel again taking a lot of very difficult swings and misses that out of bounds. Kentucky, the number 2 seed, advanced into their first ever national semifinal, beat UNLV, hit 468. Beat a very good team from Western Kentucky, hit 450. And then Purdue out of the Big Ten slowed them down a little bit at the beginning of the match, but eventually, again, Kentucky won that 3-0. Avery Skinner finding a small crack in the block.
I'll tell you what, if the block touches, they start with a fantastic block touch on the Kentucky side, transition out of it with speed to the pins. Hard to close that block on the Washington side.
Kentucky goes on a 4-0 run, and we'll have an early timeout called by the Pac-12 champions from Washington. The Kentucky Wildcats, 4-0 run, off to a very good start offensively, Salima. No surprise there, but what's been the problem so far for the Huskies?
Man, it's been hard for them to score right now. They're passing a little bit off the net and not in perfect rhythm, so you're going to see a lot of balls just like you saw there, out of system, high balls. And Drexel's just trying to find her way and find that court. They talked about not making errors, not hitting wildly. They want to take advantage of the block and use that block, and that's what she did just there on that nice high swing.
Libero Shannon Crenshaw out of Florida will go back to serve. 6'2" junior, started the season as an outside hitter, but is pressed into libero duty and has been manning it very, very well most of the season. Ensley going off speed and misses that into the net. Do you see nerves at all from Washington? This is pretty ragged for them. They're a very clean team in terms of their execution.
You know, I think it's always the beginning of this match. It's hard. It's tough. You can feel the pressure and you can feel the importance of this. And sure, they're going to steady out. I see a little bit of that, but they'll find their rhythm and steady out here in a minute.
It's nothing new. Stuffed on the outside, and the run continues here for the Kentucky Wildcats. Madison Lilly with a nice stuff on the outside. But remember what Washington's track record is. They have been down and almost out. They were down to Pittsburgh 2-0 and came storming back, winning the last 3 to advance to this first ever national semi. That ball is hit out of bounds. Oh, there was a touch. A micro touch down the line, excuse me, by Samantha Drexel, who's already taken a lot of swings. So Kentucky has played the least possible sets in only 9, and Washington has played the most. So Washington's got Kentucky right there where they want them.
Exactly. Yep, never count them out.
Getzinger, beautiful delivery. What opened that up? Did it start with the perfect pass?
I tell you, it started with the perfect pass by Avery Skinner down the line, but look at the height that Madison Lilly takes the ball above her head. It's hard to read. It's hard to know where to go and what decision you're going to make. A beautiful slide behind the setter's head.
A serve by Madison Lilly. Just named the National Player of the Year, 5'11" senior out of Overland Park, Kansas. Last year, she was a second-team All-American. This year, the Player of the Year, first-team All-SEC, Player of the Year in the SEC, Setter of the Year in the SEC. I think she had a pretty good season.
Yeah, everything of the year.
And so did her team. Their only loss all season long was back in March in Gainesville, Florida. And we know that the Florida Gators are a very, very good team. They pushed the #1 seed Wisconsin Badgers right to the limit. Wisconsin and Texas will be coming up in our second semifinal. Texas seeded #4 into the national semifinals for the 13th time. Emma Calais, 5'11" senior out of Villa Park, California, on to serve. And that missed out of bounds, turned pretty quickly by Maddie Skinner.
Yeah, the shot is there, and she saw the line that was available, but if you watch her swing at that ball, she cuts that ball across her body, but pulls it way too far across her body and ends up hitting it out of bounds.
Calais again. And on the overpass, that's a nice little run by Calais, doing a nice job coming in. She's got 18 aces on the year, averages almost 2 digs per set. Claire Hoffman, #21 in purple, with a nice tap down, 6'2" junior out of Pleasant Hill, Oregon. First team All Pac-12, second team All-American for #21. Good coverage on the off speed. Stumler, really good defender in the center back. Blocked by Sanders, #1 in purple. Long-armed, rangy middle blocker at 6'4", out of Snohomish, Washington, wearing #1 in purple.
We talked about this a little bit before, picking up that tip over the top of the block and then getting back in position to block the next play. And that's exactly what Washington has been training. That's what they want to do against Kentucky.
Kentucky goes on a 4-0 run to force a Washington timeout. And the Huskies, the comeback dogs, do exactly the same, returning the favor with a 4-0 run of their own. Nice play by Sanders, who's been really good throughout the course of this tournament so far. We talked a lot about Maria Bogomolova during the course of this tournament, and it was certainly one of the most dramatic moments any of us had seen. Head coach Keegan Cook called it the most remarkable comeback that he has ever seen, and he's been around the game for a long time. The senior out of St. Petersburg, Russia, has spent 6 months away from the team. When COVID hit last spring, she went back to Russia, and then, in spite of the fact that school was starting, she couldn't get a visa to come back into the country, so she was doing classes remotely. She was trying to get back into the United States. She finally did after a 6 months absence, and it's been such a long road for her. Was recruited out of St. Petersburg. Her father was a professional player and now a coach. Her mother was a basketball player, and she came with aspirations of being a star outside hitter. And now she's a star serving sub and defensive specialist and has carved out an incredibly important role and dialed up one of the most amazing comebacks I've ever seen. You saw it as well. What were your thoughts when you were watching that?
Well, it was emotional for anybody that was watching. You knew what was going on there, and she came in, rattled up some serves, and I think right after she came out of that game, brought them back ahead by one. You could see the emotion just build as she goes to the sideline. She's trying to get her composure and catch her breath, and has a moment with her head coach, and for him, it was emotional as well. He understands how hard she's worked and how tough this has been for her this entire year.
Coming out of the timeout, the run continues. When Bogomolova came into the match, that was against Louisville, an outstanding team out of the ACC. I'll finish that thought in just a moment. It was just amazing to see. Skinner going high. Oh, just catches a piece of the sideline. Washington trailed 7-1, 11-5. When Bogomolova went back to the sideline, Washington was leading 12-11. Just a remarkable turnaround. And of course, they went on to win it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. Raya Walker back on to serve. Kentucky leading 14-13. Opening set, best 3 out of 5. Stumler turning line. Good defense by Walker all over that. Skinner through the hole. Walker there again, but couldn't control it. Another kill by number 2 in white, Maddie Skinner. Maddie Skinner now with 3 kills on 8 swings. Washington started, they were hitting 0 for a while, even hitting negative. Now they're 7 of 19 with 5 errors, so starting to smooth things out a little bit. Hoffman high hands, coming right back to Skinner again. Big hole in the block. We can see that from our end zone position. How's that being created?
Well, every time you look at the pass, and when that pass moves a little bit forward, you're going to see Lauren Sanders make a little bit. She holds tight. Maybe she makes a little bit of move with the middle blocker, but then there's a lot of room to work with. It's hard for her to close on that quick ball.
Shank pass. Good movement on that serve once again by Raya Walker, the 5'10 freshman out of Sarasota, Florida. You get 2 timeouts per set, and Washington has now used both of theirs. Are you surprised we've seen so many big runs? I mean, these are really quality teams. It's unusual to me.
It is unusual, but I think that's what happens sometimes when there is still a little bit of nerves. You make one error and you don't want to make another error, and sometimes it just happens in runs and bunches like that. Again, when they kind of get a feel for one another, each team, a lot of times this happens at this point in the set. Someone's going to kind of take control, and you'll steady out a little bit more.
Sending it over to Holly Rowe. And Holly, we've already heard the name Skinner a lot. There's a lot of Skinners around this tournament.
That's right. Well, Craig Skinner is the coach of Kentucky Volleyball, but he's got 2 sisters playing on the court right now, Avery and Maddie. They are really sick of everybody saying, "Is Craig Skinner your dad?" So they asked us, please put up a picture of our real dad. So Brian Skinner on the left, that is their actual dad. He is a former NBA star, played in the league for over a decade. Craig Skinner is their coach, the team dad, if you will. And they were like, if people could see our real dad, they would really laugh and never ask us that question again. So, ladies, we're doing what you ask. But they sure love playing on the court. And as Maddie told us yesterday, Skinners are successful, so we'll take it. We like that name being so successful at Kentucky.
Thank you, Holly. I remember Brian Well played at Baylor, this year's national champion. So congratulations once again, and spent many, many years in the NBA, and I knew Brian well during his days with the Clippers. He was the 22nd overall first-round draft pick in the late 90s. Pretty good stock, and his daughters are performing magnificently.
So Kentucky, in this rotation, has been serving tough in the seam between Crenshaw and Drexel, and really catching them deep and off the net, and that's what's been forcing them to have to roll shot, maybe making some errors right now, but doing a nice job on the Kentucky side, working these seams of the passers.
After getting back within 1, another 4-0 run. Nice play by Saunders, but dug nicely. Stumler going off speed, Drexel all over that. Stumler looking for some hands and misses it wide, so the scoring run comes to an end. It's been back and forth, 4-0 run. First for Kentucky, then for Washington, then Kentucky again. Bogomolova back to serve once again. Washington out of timeouts. They've used both of theirs. Kentucky with 1 timeout remaining. Oh, one-on-one offense once again. LMA Powell couldn't slow down Stumler. Let's send it back over to Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, you see the service there of Maria Bogomolova. She was such a huge piece of that win, as you said. But what you don't know is she had a really difficult time even getting back to play this volleyball team. When she got back from St. Petersburg, Russia, 6 months away from the team, she actually had to quarantine 2 separate times for over 30 days. So it's just huge that she's even here and playing volleyball this year.
Yeah, it's a great story, and you saw how the affection and the emotion. And when we had our Zoom call with the players, we excused the players, and then we spoke with Keegan Cook. And when we asked him about that comeback and talked to him about his relationship with Maria Bogomolova, he was very, very emotional on that Zoom call. It was touching. Stumler looking high hands once again. Nice dig out of the backcourt. Beautiful save by Calais. Long rally, nice play up into the block, restart the point. Hoffman again taking a difficult swing. Teeler slows that down off the block touch, but a net violation is going to be called against the 2 seed, the Kentucky Wildcats, but still leading by 4.
And I tell you what, this Washington team is just patient. They make good plays, they keep the ball alive, they hit the ball into the block. They're going to get worked down the line, tips over the top, make their outside, their pin hitters work really hard in transition, but they're staying patient right now with what they're doing, and that's why they're able to side out.
Oh, a little confusion once again, but kept alive nicely by Hoffman. Calais on the floor, but that is stuffed to the ground by Maddie Skinner. Who's passing the ball better and more accurately now?
Right now, Kentucky's team is passing better, more accurately, and they're in system a lot longer. They're balanced right now. Their attack is balanced, so they're handling the ball just a little bit better. And Kentucky's serving this ball deep. They're catching the Washington passers a little bit high, and that's trouble for them.
20-15, opening set, first semifinal. Still to come, Texas and Wisconsin. Nice shot off the top of the block once again by Washington, and number 21, Claire Hoffman, averages just about 3.5 kills per set so far on the year.
Well, Claire Hoffman is so good at seeing the block, even that block that dives into her cross court, she can still skip off the hands out of bounds.
Good pass by Curry. And into the deep cross court corner, Azani Teeler, 5'10" sophomore out of Grand Prairie, Texas. Amazing that she's playing in the middle blocking position. Really played well against Western Kentucky. 8 of 9 with 1 error. Was slowed down a little bit against a big, powerful block from Purdue. Stumler, the lead once again is 5. That's a back row attacker. That's called against LMA Powell. She's in the backcourt right now and violated the plane of the net. And so a very comfortable opening set lead for Kentucky.
If you look at this passing formation, there's primarily 2 passers here, and that right side of the court can be available for some room for them to serve some aces. So keep an eye on that as well.
Drexel again finding a seam. These are 2 really good setters. When you set for Russ Rose at Penn State on this stage, what did it take for you to really run an offense calmly under these sort of circumstances?
Well, I think you just have to trust. It's trust, and we've heard that consistently with every team here, and that's why they're all here. They trust in one another. They believe in each other, and I think when you have that, you can do what you want.
Ripped down the line by Avery Skinner, number 4 in white. Madison Lilly is dishing the ball around the arena.
Tell you what, a beautiful set. Look how far she is, and this ball just kind of sits in the air. It hangs up there, and Maddie Skinner can get on that and hit the ball line. That's what they want to do. They don't want to hit into the belly of this huge Washington block. They take away that cross court and those seams well.
Don't want any part of the belly of the beast.
No, you don't.
Lauren Sanders going over the top. Been a pretty quiet opening set so far. Drexel leading the way with 3 kills. Washington only hitting .088, while Kentucky hitting .242.
Well, I do think this is a pin-heavy team, but if they can handle the ball, they want to get the ball to Sanders on a perfect pass. She can hit over the top of the block just like she did in that last play.
Opportunity in transition. Drexel and misses that one wide. Timing not quite there.
Well, I like that run in transition. They keep both hitters on the left side in front, and then you're going to look for Drexel over there on the right side of the court, out of the back row.
Set point number 1 for Madison Lilly, the newly named National Player of the Year, off the top of the block. Nice touch by Curry. A rip again through another hole in the block, and the number 2 seed Kentucky Wildcats, Maddie Skinner, registers her 5th kill, and the opening set goes quickly to the Kentucky Wildcats. First semifinal, Kentucky leading Washington 1-0. The Kentucky Wildcats making history. They were in their first ever regional final, and they advanced to their first ever, obviously, national semifinal. It was hard fought in the beginning, but then Allie Stumler and the Skinner sisters, along with Madison Lilly, smoothed things out and swept aside the Purdue Boilermakers. They were the number 7 seed. 3-0 and have advanced. Take a look at how Washington and Kentucky, Salima, they have taken very, very different routes. Kentucky a straight line, Washington not so much.
I tell you what, and it's a big difference. I know they've had a little time off, but I tell you what, playing 3 5-set matches in the tournament, it's a big difference than 3 sets every single time. So Kentucky potentially could be a lot fresher in a position that way. I mean, it's a big difference, but this Washington team, tell you what, they like to battle, they grovel, and if it goes 5, it goes 5. I mean, they're gonna make it happen.
A very streaky opening set on both sides, obviously favoring Kentucky. Tied at 13 with Washington, and then closed out the set on a 12-5 run. Pretty commanding. Early opportunity for the Huskies. Try to find some rhythm. And they missed that out of bounds. Very un-Husky-like. 9, now 10 hitting errors. 7 balls out of bounds. Kentucky with 3 blocks. Tell me what Keegan Cook is looking at right now to try to smooth this out.
Well, I think he just wants them to be smart with what they're doing, control the ball. But what Kentucky is doing is putting pressure on this right side of the court, trying to force them to set the outside a little bit, get out of system. And then they can get their blocks set. So some of that is going on, and what they're doing in transition as well. So Keegan Cook is just going to try to calm his players down, talk to them about what they can do if they're passing well. And that's the key to everything.
They are not passing well right now. And give Madison Lilly and the rest of her teammates a lot of credit for that. They're moving the ball around. Good block touch, but Kentucky unable to come up with it. We were following that match when the Pitt Panthers, who pulled off the biggest upset of the tournament, taking out number 3 seed Minnesota. We're up 2-0. And then Keegan Cook, I asked him, because you hit 071 in the first 2 sets, you hit almost 400 he said, we established the slide. That turned the match around.
I mean, and that's the key. If they can get that going, and LMA Powell can get that there. She can fling that ball back there to Lawrence Sanders. But they need the ball in that range, in having some good passes here right now to make that happen.
That's going to be a net violation, unfortunately, because that was a nicely controlled dig that time by the libero, Shannon Crenshaw, wearing number 11 in the white libero jersey for Washington.
So back in this 2-hitter rotation, you'll see if they can get Sanders the ball behind on a slide on a perfect pass.
There's looking at the slide again, tapped down the line, but dug nicely by Kentucky. A transition opportunity. Beautiful dig by Walker. Washington is a big physical team. They rely on their transition hitting and a big stout block, and you see it for the first time.
I tell you, and that's what they do so well. They get in position, they get over the net, especially these high balls. That's their bread and butter right there. If they can get their block set, they are huge. They take up a ton of space, get over the net, really well trained. And that's what they need to do. Force Kentucky out of the system as much as possible to get their block set.
Curry with the shank pass and can't be tracked down by the serving specialist from St. Petersburg.
I tell you, that movement on the ball, that ball was going straight ahead, coming at Curry, and then it just cut and curved left on her, dropped. It's a tough serve. You watch it from behind the court, you can see all that movement on the ball.
That's a really good look, and what a reception that time by Gabby Curry. Ripped down the line, dug by Bolobogova. But a net violation is going to nullify that spectacular overhand dig.
Wow, Bogomova just got in there and took it. She got her hands up, made a dig, but a net violation, like you said, but a beautiful swing down the line.
Sometimes it's defense, and sometimes it's self-defense.
Look at Stumler.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Wow, that saved a near facial. Wow, that was really nicely done. And we've had a lot of interest in Maria Bogomolova, but also in that comeback against Louisville, she had a spectacular dig that was in the mix as well.
Absolutely did a lot.
Washington's passing a little better now, and Ella May Powell can run the offense and dish in quickly to the outside to Drexel.
What I like how she does that when she's pushed all the way to the right side of the court, she kind of likes to fling that ball long. She likes the long distance. It has pace on it. It's got some rhythm, and then they can score over the top.
Samantha Drexel had a difficult opening set. She hit so many tough balls against the opponent's set block, but they need her. Nice swing once again by Stumler.
Stumler's just so good at moving the ball around. We've seen her hit a variety of shots already. She has every shot in the book and just gotten better and better. But look at this ball by Lily. It's a perfect bump set, from way off the net. 4
teams in the national semifinals, obviously. On 3 of the teams, the setters were first-team All-American. Jenna Gabriel, a second-team All-American at the University of Texas. Teeler down the line in transition.
Man, and that transition play is just textbook. A beautiful move in the back row, controlled dig, and then transitioning to the right side of the court. Look at this block touch. Perfect. Skinner stays deep. Transition to the right side of the court and gets a one-on-one opportunity.
Madison Lilly, you saw blocking number 3. She may only be 5'11", but she is an outstanding athlete. Washington comes right back with Grode out of the middle. Lilly gets a lot of quality block touches.
Well, she's big, she's long, she has great vision, good awareness, court awareness, and I think that's why she's so good at the net too. Doesn't have to stuff a lot of balls, but she's in a good spot and controls it.
What do you think about serving Gabby Curry? I'm not so sure that's a great idea or part of Keegan Cook's plan.
Yeah, I don't think that was where it was supposed to go, but I tell you what, that shot by Stumler, again, just showing that versatility. But Gabby Curry can handle the ball like nobody else, I tell you what.
16 digs in 3 sets, 3 quick sets, or at least the second 2 were against Purdue. Transition opportunity, quickly to the outside, one-on-one. And Avery Skinner again.
Give Avery Skinner some room to swing, and she is going to find the floor. Unbelievable play here. You see Grote gets caught, and one-on-one outside. She just snaps on top of that thing.
In the middle, the timing not there, and another unforced error from Washington.
Tell you, right idea, and that's exactly where she should have gone with the ball. Going to the middle, trying to mix some things up a little bit, but unable to come away with that side out. ESPN
and on ABC. Back with 3-time All-American Salima Rockwell. I'm Paul Sunderland. Thank you for joining us here in Omaha. And so far, it has been the number 2 seed Kentucky Wildcats. What areas of this match so far? It's too early to say dominate, but what's given them such a clear advantage?
Well, I think they're serving tough, getting Washington off the net and a little bit more uncomfortable and not where they want to be, and also running a fast offense when they're in system. They're passing well, and that's what they're doing right now. But Washington has the ability to hit off the block, to do some special things, make some things happen.
What an incredible sprint and stretch defensively, but that ball ruled just outside the inimaginable line for safety purposes. But what a great effort. What a chase that time.
So keep an eye on Teeler. Again, we talk about her as a middle. She's going to hit some variety of sets behind, back twos. Just watch where she moves around offensively.
Good swing inside the block. Luckily deflected. Everything going Kentucky's way right now. Drexel ripping through a big hole in the block. That's the best look she's had so far.
I tell you, and that's what they want. She's made some errors earlier, and they're sending her a ton of balls, and They want her to be in rhythm because she can score consistently on this right side. She's got a hammer of an arm. She can hit this ball to the floor. When they're controlling it, she's in good shape.
Once again, very streaky. Azani Taylor streaking a straight line down the sideline. Taylor is a spectacular athlete at only 5'10", playing middle blocker and really a difference maker on this team.
But I tell you, watch how far Madison Lilly is running forward and flings that ball back, reverses the flow, catches the middles.
And look at these runs. After the timeout, just like in the opening set, Washington went on a 3-0 run to get right back in contact, trailing by 1, and then they give up beautiful side out, but now they give up a service ace. And the service error there, a break for the Huskies, but you look at the numbers, Salima. Kentucky hitting 326 so far in the match. Washington still under 100.
Yeah, they're just trying to find their rhythm right now, and if they can get their middles involved, they need to do that a little bit more, if possible. But it's not a team that sets their middles a ton. Something they'd like to do, though, if they can get in system.
Teams exchanging service errors as once again the AVCA National Player of the Year, Madison Lilly out of Overland Park, Kansas, will go back to serve. I've been incredibly impressed with her ability to move the ball around. Sanders on the off speed, on the slide.
Like that shot by Sanders. You see Avery Skinner starting to take a little bit more cross court. She wants to dive into that cross court on her, and she sees the tip available over the top of the block.
Emma Calais, 5'11" senior out of California, coming on to serve once again. These two teams do, Salima, as we both know, have some recent history. Look at that! Wow! Right in the middle of the campfire. Don't anybody go near that one.
That's a perfectly served ball. You've got all the hitters stacked on the left side of the court here for Kentucky in rotation 1, and a little confusion on who's going to take that short ball.
On the overpass, chance for Washington to run some points again, quickly to the outside, off the edge of the block. Look at Lilly come flying in. Skinner again, nice cover by Stumler. And missed out of bounds. Momentum point, momentum rally, possibly for the Washington Huskies.
Well, great job on both sides of the court here, just scrapping and going hard after the ball defensively. Keeping the ball in play at the end of those rallies is going to be key. Washington
starting to get some quality touches and put some pressure on this Kentucky offense. And now look at this service run. Is this Bogomolova? No, it's not. It's Emma Calais coming on. The serving specialist doing a heck of a job for the Washington Huskies. Calais running some points, and they're right back in it. Not only back in it, they're leading by 1.
I tell you what, this Washington team is a tough serving team. They have servers that can put the ball right on the money, serve deep with a lot of pace, and they rely on that a lot for their team, for their success on the season.
Let's go back over to Holly Rowe.
Well, we talked to Keegan Cook of Washington on why they have had such a come-from-behind mentality. We told you they've played in 9 5-set matches this season. And he said, you know, we practice for these moments all year long. Every single practice, they do something called MEM, make a memory, at the end of practice. Everybody has to write on the chalkboard what they're bad at, what they want to work on in that moment, and they have one shot to get it right. If they don't, they have to wait overnight to work on it again the next day and let it linger. So they are continually running towards discomfort, he said. I love that phrase so much. If you run towards discomfort, you learn how to excel in those moments. And we're seeing Washington. They lost set 1, and here they are running full speed at discomfort, trying to get back in this match.
Holly, that is so right. They have been uncomfortable in discomfort for a lot of this tournament, but they have come out on top each and every time, now leading by 1. The NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship coverage continues with a national final beginning Saturday, April 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. For more information on the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship, visit ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Very productive. 15 substitutions allowed in women's college volleyball, and both coaches making very good use. Calais coming in. We've seen Bogomolova as well being productive. And another tough serve. Hoffman ripping inside. Perfect dig by Curry. That's a beautiful shot by a freshman. That's a mature swing by Maddie Skinner.
That's exactly right. I mean, hitting this ball over the top and deep into the court is difficult to do, but I tell you, from this perfect dig, you can see Lily has that rhythm that she wants, and they have to train that swing in practice every day.
We have our first challenge, and I saw during the rally, remember there was a whiff, as you say, out of the middle, and Kentucky kept the ball alive. Washington was contending that the middle attacker, I think it would have been Getzinger, got a piece of the ball, creating four contacts. So I think, and four contacts is one of the many areas that can be challenged and reviewed. Each team gets 3 challenges in the first 4 sets, and then if we go to a 5th set tiebreaker, an additional challenge will be allotted to each team. Yeah, we are having confirmed that we are looking at 4 contacts. Here's the play.
Ooh, I think that's the right call. I thought I saw a finger on that ball.
It looked like Getzinger, number 11 in white.
Right here.
Yeah, she got a piece. There's no question. That's a good use of the challenge. So that should be Washington's point.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see it.
Well, you see the spin of the ball changing a little bit. What do you think, Salima?
I definitely thought I saw it on the first couple.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be 4 contacts. That should be Washington's point possession. You can challenge ball in or out, ball off a player, either at the net or in the backcourt, a net violation, foot fault at the service line, and foot fault at the 3-meter line, also ball up or down.
Oh, this last angle, Paul, making me doubt myself.
Salima, I have confidence in your first impression.
See this again?
I thought one of the early angles we saw absolutely confirmed that Getzinger made some contact with that ball, creating a violation of 4 contacts.
I don't know. That one, I'm not sure.
I do. I know.
Of course you do.
No. I saw the spin on the ball change. I thought that was 4 contacts.
We will see what the referees say and get confirmation. They're obviously slowing it down. Really want to make sure that there is without a shadow of a doubt that this is the correct call.
Ryan McDowell is the first referee. The second referee who handles all the replays is Julie Beck. Both very outstanding, experienced officials. Obviously, you're going to have your very best in the NCAA semifinals. I mentioned that these 2 teams, Salima, had some recent history. Go back to the last NCAA tournament, not in 2020, in 2019, a rematch of the regional semifinals in Waco, Texas. That was won by Washington, 3-1. Washington then fell to Baylor, who went on to the national semifinals. Washington also defeated Kentucky in the second round in 2016. Well, we are going to find out that I'm wrong once again. Wow. I thought for sure I saw a touch, but again, the video evidence available has to be 100% accurate. 99.5 isn't enough.
All right, so we are back in action.
Don't know about that one. I thought I saw a touch. Keegan Cook getting an explanation, and tied at 13. His team's made a nice run. Washington's theme always good after good. So they got to get right back to that, forget that, and just make another good play. On the slide again, right down the line by Sanders.
Well, you got to know at this point where that ball's going on a perfect pass, especially with Sanders up there in the front row in this rotation, rotation 5. They want to lay that ball back there for her. She's had success already. Hit some balls cross court, and now she's attacking down the line. I love the versatility of Lauren Sanders swinging on the slide.
5 kills for Sanders, 5 for Drexel, and 5 for Hoffman as well. Good sign for Washington that Sanders is among the kill leaders. Ripped by Getzinger out of the middle. She touched that one.
Definitely did. The perfect pass, creating this opportunity for a one-on-one opportunity in the middle of the court. If you watch Washington, pin blockers just take off. They're both looking for their responsibilities on the pins. One-on-one, Getzinger is going to get you.
Good block by Stumler to give Kentucky the opportunity. Oh, ripped into the cross court, but what a defensive save that time by Avery Skinner, number 4 in white.
Unbelievable defensive play here. You see Skinner goes out, lays out for this pancake, and a bump set by her sister for the cross-court kill by Allie Stumler.
Stumler now with half a dozen kills. Stumler again with room down the line. Allie Stumler now with 7 kills.
Tell you what, Kentucky just has so many weapons. Even if you get somebody out of the play, you tip a ball short on them, they still have somebody else they can set. And getting that ball all the way to the pin against Washington is the key, hitting outside the block.
Curry is all over that off speed. The connection wasn't there. Drexel finds a little bit of space. Nice mixed direction to give Drexel some room out of the back row.
I really like that. I love the way they're running the offense right now. Digging the ball high in the middle of the court, giving Ella May Powell time to get underneath it and do what she needs to do. A nice swing out of the back row by Drexel.
Here is Ella May Powell, 6-foot junior out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. First team All-American, setter of the year in the Pac-12. That is a really good, high, hard rip by Stumler once again.
Just has the ability to hit hard, off the hands, see it, not hitting down into the block, hitting high and off the block. That's what Allie Stumler has really grown to get good at that.
Kentucky up 1-0, leading 17-15 here in the second. Tharp is back on to serve for the Wildcats. Stumler again. Sharp cross court, deep cross court, or cross body down the line.
You name it. You name it, she's got it.
Timeout is called by the Huskies. Allie Stumler leading the way for the number 2 seeded Kentucky Wildcats.
Let you guys know, and this is within the family, that Madison was national player.
One more announcement. Craig Skinner's national. Well, that is the team announcement of Madison Lilly being named the National Player of the Year, the first time ever that an SEC player has won that award, and Craig Skinner also Coach of the Year. You know, Madison was hilarious. She said, when Coach said this is a family discussion and a family moment, she's like, at first I thought somebody maybe died, but nope, it was actually good news. Don't have that kind of attitude. Madison Lilly making history as the first SEC player ever named for that award.
Out of the timeout, an ace serve, and the defensive specialists on both sides are having a big impact. Nice play by Lauren Tharp. And Madison Lilly was first seen by Coach Craig Skinner when she was in the 7th grade, came to his camp, and Coach Skinner told us even as a 7th grader, she was the best athlete and the best player in the camp. He said, I need your phone number. What's your family's address? Hoffman through the block, dug by another Skinner, no relation. Wow, what a good shot by Stumler. And Drexel misses that out of bounds. The hitting errors were under control for a bit here at the beginning of this second set, but now that's 13 hitting errors for Washington. They're hitting just about 100, while the offense for Kentucky is really smoothing out and heating up at the same time. Block touch and a nice high flat shot. Kentucky, if you're just joining us, won the opening set 25-18. We were tied at 13, and then the Wildcats went on a 12-5 run to slow things down. And now Claire Hoffman will try to get the Huskies on a little bit of a mini run of their own. It's been a very streaky match so far.
It absolutely has.
Oh, a serve. The short serve just froze Avery Skinner. Nice play by Hoffman.
Well, and they're dropping the short serves in, going short and deep in certain situations, trying to either take certain players out. You get Skinner, even if this isn't an ace, you've got Stumler running all the way across the court in this rotation.
Stumler hitting the ball at the late blocker, Marin Groth, that time.
I think both teams doing a nice job scouting where they need to go and serve the ball, serve tough to get them in trouble, each team in trouble here.
Stumler having a big second set. 2 kills in the opening set, has 8 here in the second so far with that service error. A break for Washington. Washington came in winners of 9 in a row. The number 6 overall seed, Kentucky at 22-1, 19-1 in the SEC, and the number 2 seed. As you just saw, number 1 Wisconsin, number 4 seed Texas to follow. Boy, these teams are so well coached and so disciplined, hitting high flat off the top of the block.
Tell you what, that's a nice serve to that short area of the court, getting that ball right on Teeler, trying to get her out of the play, but it doesn't matter. Lily can fling that ball outside.
Azani Teeler, don't tell her she's undersized to play in the middle, was a second-team All-American. Drexel into the deep cross-court corner. Number 9 in purple registering the kill, and they need a lot more of that. 7 kills now on 17 swings.
Just so much heat. I love her ability to hit that ball deep into the corner. It's really difficult for the right back and middle back to play that ball.
Working on Skinner. Nice pass. Oh, good block. Ensley, the freshman, diving into the angle.
Tell you, that's what they train so well at Washington, diving into the cross court on one-on-one opportunities. Very good at that. Love to see younger players doing that as well.
She's young. She's a freshman.
That's it.
Washington trailing by 2. Ensley's going to get another crack at it. Goes off speed. Huge pull. Oh, just missed out of bounds. Wow, Ensley has really mattered herself. Maddie Ensley, outstanding freshman out of Southern California, missed that just long in the deep cross-court corner.
Well, both teams being smart, out of system a lot, some transition plays where they're just chopping ball in the court and out of the court.
Going to have a challenge. Keegan Cook came off the bench. We've already had 1 challenge previously. So this would be Washington's second of 3 challenges. And unlike internationally, he was challenging that there was a touch off the block off of Getzinger in the middle.
And that ball was hit pretty flat. So we'll see if we can see anything here.
And now, as the replay system has evolved in college volleyball, they can look at all 3 things. They can look at a touch off the block, ball in or out, or a net violation. Look at the inside hand. You might see some finger movement on Getzinger. This is a huge call.
This is a big one.
Huge call.
Let's see if we see that inside hand. Oh, this is a little far to see, but check out that inside hand again.
Oh yeah.
Looks like the finger moved.
Yeah. There's a micro touch off the right hand of Getzinger, so it should be. Should I say that, Salima?
I don't know.
I definitely saw 4 touches. Come on. It should be 22-21, and we've got ourselves a ball game. 23-20 is a whole other kettle of fish, if you will.
We'll see. They have once they zoom in and see if they're seeing what we're seeing.
I brought up the international side of the challenge system. In college volleyball, once you've used your challenge, even if you're correct, let's wait for this call. This is supremely important, and then I'll finish the thought. Both teams waiting anxiously for the decision. Yeah, touch.
There it is.
So Keegan Cook and Washington could be a factor now. Have used 2 of their 3 challenges, and in college volleyball you get 3, and I mentioned you get an additional in the 5th set. But unlike internationally, even if you're right, you've used your challenge. It's gone.
Well, that's a big swing of points here, 21-22.
Tough serve. Skinner is stuffed. Sanders, number 1 in purple. And we're tied at 22.
A huge block by Sanders. And a tough swing out there by Avery Skinner. That ball's falling inside. Last place you want to go into that block. A big block by Lawrence Sanders, and a nice job by LMA Powell setting this block up perfectly, moving it inside.
Salima, you just cannot keep a good dog down. I mean, these Huskies just will not go away. It's an unbelievable display of grit and also faith and trust when they're down, and they know they're struggling. This is a quality team and program. They knew the beginning of this match they weren't playing well, and here they are.
Well, I just think they're patient. They don't get rattled, and whatever's going on, whatever just happened, they move on. It might happen in 1 or 2 or 3 points, but it doesn't ruin everything. So I think that's what's been really good about Washington. They keep the ball alive, keep the ball in play, force the other team to try and do something they don't want to do as well.
Tied at 22 in a timeout. The lineup this weekend has the NBA, UFC, and MLB. 8:30 Eastern Time on ABC. It's the Lakers and the Mavs. 10 Eastern Time on ESPN+. The prelims of UFC 261. 3:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. NBA Sunday, it's the Suns and the Nets. And then at 7 Eastern Time on ESPN. Sunday Night Baseball. The Dodgers and the Padres do it once again. They've already had a pretty interesting series down in San Diego. Next match coming up, our second semifinal. Wisconsin wants to get back in the national championship match for the 2nd year in a row. Texas, what a program they have built. 13 times in the national semifinals. Number 1 seed Wisconsin, champions of the Big Ten. Big 12 champs, the Texas Longhorns, the number 4 seed. You couldn't qualify for this national semifinal unless you won your conference.
Right.
Kentucky, of course, winning the SEC, and Washington winning the Pac-12 championship. Coming out of the timeout, tied at 22, played at 25, win by 2. Tough serve again, and the ball is down. Wow. Washington starting to get it done from the service line.
Tough serve. That ball just drops. Let's see if Kentucky takes a step up on this ball where the bottom drops out of it.
Washington now has 5 aces in the match, and I think they're leading for the very first time. Kentucky scrambling a little bit. That should have been better ball control. Ensley, big swing, down the line and good.
Unbelievable swing on the outside by Ensley, cracking that ball down the line.
Set point, what a turnaround again. Set point number 1 for Drexel in Washington. Kentucky spent some time out of system, and they're paying the price. Wow, a miscue in the backcourt between Hoffman and the defensive specialist, Emma Calais.
Oh, wow, you hate to see that in the middle of a play like this at this point in the match.
Set point number 2. Lily's been serving some seams. Well handled by Drexel. On the slide, dug by Lily. And roofed again out of the middle by Lauren Sanders. The middle's really starting to have an impact offensively and defensively, Salima.
Well, that's what they need to happen. That's what we've been saying all along. The pins can't do it on their own. It's the middles that have really stepped up offensively and taken care of that middle of the court blocking-wise.
Washington trailed 20-15. They come storming back and take the second set 25-23. In the semifinal, we are tied at 1 set apiece for a trip to the national finals coming up on Saturday. What a turnaround for the Huskies. What else is new? Katie and Sam on the other side.
We are at intermission of our first national semifinal, but still to come 45 minutes after the conclusion of this Washington-Kentucky match. We will see Wisconsin and Texas, and you do not want to miss that one. But still plenty of volleyball left to play here in our first national semifinal. Welcome back into the studio, everyone. Sam Gore along with Katie George. Washington ended that set on a 7-1 run to give Kentucky their first set loss in the tournament, but it kind of started par for the course for the Huskies, didn't it?
It did in a way. I feel like we should be used to this at this point. Washington got off to a slow start. They weren't passing the ball extremely well, which then led to hitters making some uncharacteristic errors. You see a couple of aces right at the beginning of set one. Madison Lilly is a phenomenal server. So Washington, they finished with just 11 kills, Sam, in set one and 9 errors to hit 0.56. Well, Kentucky's not a team that you can just give free points because they make you pay, and we saw that in set one. But like we've seen in every Washington match in this NCAA tournament, they fight back in set two. It started at the service line. Hitters gained some confidence, and then they finished set two hitting 243. They need to continue to pressure Kentucky from the service line.
And Washington served great in that second set, and we'll send it back into the site now. Paul and Salima will break it down even further.
Thank you, Sam and Katie. Back with Salima Rockwell, Paul Sunderland with you in Omaha. And certainly, Washington was spectacular from the service line. They have 5 aces in this best 3 out of 5 set match. All 5 of those, Salima, coming in the second set. Is that just executing the scouting report or Kentucky falling off a little bit in that phase?
Well, I think Washington's doing a better job putting pressure on the ball. They started out serving not so tough, and that's, I know they're a good serving team. They're a very good serving team. So now they're finding their rhythm, finding a groove, and feeling more comfortable serving tough, serving the ball tough to the Kentucky team.
Just the start of the third set. We're getting ready for Washington's Drexel to serve. Let's send it to Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, keep in mind that is the first set all NCAA tournament that Kentucky has lost. So how do they respond? Craig Skinner told us all along, this is a mature group. They have great leadership. They've been consistent all year. He said this has not been a group that's been on a roller coaster of emotion. So how they respond right now will tell you a lot about Kentucky.
Thank you, Holly. Exactly right. And the opening side out, nicely done once again by Maddie Skinner, and a perfect delivery by Madison Lilly. We do have indeed All-American setters. Look at this comparison, Salima.
Well, I mean, that's the difference, and that's what they did, like you said, in previous matches. Not able to score, hit at a high efficiency, and then they just warm it up, and they get better and better.
And look at this. Washington, one of the keys that Keegan Cook gave us. Side out, manage that, establish the slide, and also hammer hands.
Hammer hands. Well, and that's what they're doing. That's exactly what you're seeing. They're controlling the ball a little bit better. You're seeing Sanders more on the slide, and they're hitting high hands.
And about serving, look at Teeler and his dug in the backcourt. Calais hanging in. And a tough chance that time out of the back row. Shannon Crenshaw, the libero in the white off-colored jersey, not able to get there. Huge runs to end both of the opening sets. Kentucky went on a 12-5 run to win the opening set 25-18, and then Washington turns the tables behind those aces. A 10-3 run to take the second. And how big was that challenge? A huge turnaround and good use of the challenge.
Absolutely.
Dig by Curry. Free ball coming to Washington. Skinner saying, what else have you got out of the middle? That was a really run offensive pattern, and Avery Skinner just hanging in and digging it.
Well, I like that. They run this off a beautiful dig here. You see a hustle on the Kentucky side, but you see Washington run this tight slide, not all the way to the pin like they were doing, right behind the setter, and Avery Skinner just hanging in there for the dig.
Drexel off the inside hand. Nice press by Teeler. The ball was called in. The Kentucky bench was exercised about something, but what a smart shot down the line that time by Claire Hoffman.
Really smart shot. Just chopping it down the line where no one is available. Again, you watch this rotation. You'll see Stumler has to run across Avery Skinner. The last time they caught her short here. with a little bit of that confusion down the line.
Taylor is roofed. What a play on the outside by Hoffman.
Tell you what, this block move is just perfectly executed. Watch her get all the way to the outside, that left hand pressing back into the court. That's exactly what you want your left side blockers to do.
Swing blocking from the inside out to the pin to give yourself a little more elevation. What a stuff. Bogomolova again. That's a double contact. Why? Is it all about this consistent service pressure, or has Kentucky's passing just fallen off? Because it's fallen off significantly.
It's the service pressure. I'm telling you, you watch the flight of this ball from where we're sitting. It's just driving over top of the net, but it's targeted, right? That one Stumbler had to duck on. Skinner had to keep her focus and still pass this ball. So it's pretty intentional what they're doing, where they're going with the ball.
Yeah, they're going after Avery Skinner, no doubt about it. Teeler finds a small hole in the block that time, as Ani Teeler registering another kill.
Well, and they need Teeler to be good, especially in that rotation when Stumbler's trying to get out of the way and not able to get a full approach, unable to set her. They need Teeler to be good in some of those rotations.
Teeler's been good, 5 of 11, only 1 error, hitting .364. Stumbler having another magnificent match offensively. Back to serve. I'll give you her numbers in a moment. Stumbler tracks that down. Curry on the long run and the save. And the slide again. Sliding right into the lead.
I like how they're mixing it up now. Moving that slide in the middle of the court, but look at this defensive effort on the side of Kentucky. Unbelievable hustle by Gabby Curry. Washington transitioning out of that.
Ace serve again. That's half a dozen aces already for the Huskies. Tied at a set apiece, and Washington leading 6-4. Look at the numbers for Maren Grote along with Lauren Sanders. They have already taken 21 swings. That's a great sign for Washington.
It is.
Quickly to the outside again, tattooing right down the line. Holly, what do you got?
Well, if you hear the crowd cheering and you wonder why they're cheering on certain points, it's because a huge contingent here are Nebraska fans. We do have 200 tickets for Washington, 200 tickets for Kentucky, but I would tell you almost the entire rest of the crowd are Cornhusker fans. And when they see good plays like that long chase ball, they know volleyball so well because this is a volleyball crowd. I just love how into this they are, cheering both teams, both points. When they see good plays, they are cheering for both teams.
And all these Husker fans just love my partner, Salima Rockwell. When we were getting ready to do our open before first serve, there's about 100 Husker fans back, and you're wearing Husker red. That was nice of you, Salima, playing to the home crowd.
Oh my goodness.
Well, the championship here, the Huskers, by the way, an outstanding year once again, but they were eliminated by the Texas Longhorns 3-1. Jared Elliott was joking that if we get to the national championship match again, we got to beat the Big Ten. They've already beaten Penn State and they've beaten Nebraska. Now they face Wisconsin. That's coming up later. Skinner in transition, covered by Curry, but that's not going to be kept alive. Washington starting to exert itself in the blocking phase.
It's another opportunity for the Washington block to get set. A high ball that's falling inside for Avery Skinner. They're going to be all over that.
There is Crenshaw. Boy, very conservative swing off the perimeter. Drexel. And that ball is cut a little bit too tight. And inside the block. Nice play by Drexel. A little bit lucky there.
Really nice play by Drexel. She has that ability to hit that ball deep, and then when that ball's not perfect and not high enough, just chop it off.
Washington on an 8-3 run to take the 9-6 advantage, and Kentucky comes right back with a nice tight side out. Skinner now with 10 kills, but has taken 27 swings to get there. Stumbler, 10 of 19, hitting .474. Stumbler is having a magnificent tournament and almost 400 coming in. Nice play in the side out. Good rhythm outside to Ensley.
Well, I tell you what, you see middle blocker on the other side of the net. Just hold their position. It's tough on a perfect pass, and getting that rhythm. LMA Powell firing that ball out to the pin with a nice pace.
The lead is 3. We're tied at 1 set apiece. Good block on the slide. Nice response that time from Stumler, along with some help from Elise Getzinger.
I tell you, this is the move they want to do and the shot they want to take against Lauren Sanders here on the slide. Watch Allie Stumler stop short and dive back in. Exactly what they want to do to slow her down a little bit.
That was perfect execution of blocking move. Really nicely done. We're going to have a challenge once again, and if my math is right, that will mean Washington is out of challenges unless we go to a 5th set. That's interesting. That's very interesting to me, particularly when you have a 10-8 lead. Remember, Washington needed a challenge late in their comeback win over the Pitt Panthers. There was a ball that was hit by Washington. I think it was Drexel late in the 5th set. It was called out. It was in by about 1.5 feet, and of course they quickly got it right. But somebody said to me, they sent me a text. They said, Paul, what if Washington was out of challenges? That call would have stood because it wouldn't been able to review. So these challenges are worth their weight in gold.
Looks like Washington is challenging a touch by back row setter here when Madison Lilly goes up. Oh, there you go. Maybe not on the setter, but maybe they're on the swing by Getzinger.
Not again. 4 contacts again?
Right? It's the exact same play. We'll see if we can make sure we're clear on that.
Well, how big was the challenge in the latter stages of the 2nd set? Wonderful work by the Washington coaching staff and Keegan Cook to get that call right. That was a 2-point switch, and Washington goes on to win it on a 10-3 run, 25-23, to even this match at a set apiece.
This is the same play. This is the same thing. So we'll see if she...
Wow. Yeah, this is a carbon copy of a play we had in the opening set.
Doesn't look like it.
Wow, that's big. The first one, I was quite confident. This one, I am staying neutral. I am staying neutral because I just can't tell. But to me, the biggest issue here is that Washington's out of challenges. To me, that's a huge deal in this match.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. I would agree with you. We're early. It's early in the match.
Oh, we're tied at a set apiece, so we got to go a minute. We got a long way to go, thanks to that comeback from Washington. Kentucky won the opening set quite easily, actually, 25-18, when Washington was really struggling with their offense. This, like the previous challenge towards the latter stages of the 2nd set, you know, given the score, I don't think it has anywhere near the importance. But what is important now is that Washington, once again, is void in terms of challenges till the 5th set. Talked about all the firsts for Craig Skinner, National Coach of the Year. Congratulations to him. The first SEC volleyball athlete, Madison Lilly, to be the AVCA Player of the Year. And also, this is the only SEC championship. 21 sports competed for championships in the SEC. This is the only national championship that the SEC has never won.
It's crazy.
They've had some success.
They have had a lot of success. A lot of success, and Craig Skinner has done such an amazing job with his team and getting him here and at this semifinal match. We will see.
On the previous contention of 4 contacts, Washington came up on the short end of that as well, and we're about to get the decision. Yeah, got it. Got it. Back row block. by Madison Lilly was the interpretation.
So we were looking at
that. Makes sense to me.
The play right before that.
Being explained. Look at the switch. Now it's 11-7 Washington. So Madison Lilly is in the back court. She cannot participate in any action attacking or blocking above the net. And the Washington blocker made contact with the ball, put it on to Lilly, so immediately the play should be over. Good use of the challenge. Drexel again, 11-7. Inslee, smart decision going off speed. The block was right in her face. Through the block and down, and I'll tell you what, number 9, Drexel, and number 21, Hoffman, they patrol in the back court. They're good defensively.
They just keep it up. They keep the ball up and in play, high off the net. That's exactly what they do.
We'll step aside. Look at this turnaround. The Huskies on top by 5. Huskies making very good use of the challenge system here in the third set. But more importantly, in the second, there was a critical call on a touch. A micro touch was detected, and it was. Getzinger's inside right hand, a little bit of movement, a little bit of vibration. That really changed things around. Yeah, that's worth a fist bump by the coach. And that gave Washington a chance to get right back in contact. They closed out the second set 25-23. Back with Salima Rockwell, I'm Paul Sunderland. Thanks for joining us. First of 2 national semifinals. If you look at the hitting percentages, 057 in the opening set, 243 in the second. Now they're hitting 538.
And that's the errors. I mean, look at those errors. 0 errors at this point.
That ball missed out of bounds right on cue. Inslee had it one-on-one. A beautiful delivery by Ella May Powell. What's turned it around here for Washington, specifically on the offensive end?
Specifically, they're controlling the ball. They're passing the ball well. They're being patient with their swings. They're getting their block set as well. So offensively, they're able to just run what they want right there. Lauren Sanders, they're able to run the middle, and that's what they want to do, and not just rely on the pins right now.
Slide again to Sanders, who rips it crossbody. Number 1 in purple, just ripping that slide. We'll give you her numbers quickly. Sanders now with 8 kills on 15 swings.
When she's moving it around, she's hitting it down the line. That the blockers have to make decisions. They're either going to drop on her. Do they take a little bit more line? And I like that but it's the ball that Ella May Powell is setting that's allowing her to have all those options.
Calais looking for that short serve once again. She had a couple of the 5 aces in the second set alone for the Washington Huskies. 13-10 is the advantage. Lauren Tharp will come on to serve. Texas and Wisconsin to follow, the number 1 and number 4 seeds. Stumler, nice play keeping the ball alive, but missed out of bounds. Really good work by number 17, Stumler, and then of course Gabby Curry, the 3-time Libero of the Year in the SEC, keeping that ball alive.
And that's great hustle on the side of Kentucky, but I tell you what, it's Washington doing a nice job just using the block, hitting high hands, being a lot smarter with what they're doing on balls that aren't perfect.
Both teams with 8 kills here in the second set. Bogomolova. Teeler going off speed. Nice play by Calais. Teeler again. That's too good. Wow, she is so versatile, and Craig Skinner has found a way to make his 5'10" middle blocker very effective.
Well, she just moves the ball around. They move her around, then she moves the ball around. Has a ton of range. They're not just running her on quicks, ones, traditional middle stuff. They move her around and maximize her strengths.
A little traffic jam. Oh, what a smart shot into the corner. Beautifully done by Hoffman.
Really well done. Kentucky puts up a nice block on that first play here, and out of the system, you'll see Madison Lilly stays down, expecting a roll shot, so the back row gets a little bit messed up, and their responsibilities and where that ball's going.
There is Powell. Kentucky in pretty good rhythm passing right now, but Washington's get another transition opportunity. Up into the block, offensive rebound, restart the point. Stumler just stretched out, great save. Avery Skinner, the senior out of Katy, Texas, missing that ball out of bounds.
And some big plays on both sides. Stumler laying out for this one. Unbelievable play on that side of the net, but Washington continues to put pressure on from the service line.
What a dig that time down the middle by Crenshaw. It's going to be a net violation called against the Washington Huskies. Kentucky, the number 2 seeds, they had not lost a set until about 15 minutes ago when they fell 25-23 in the tournament, that is, and now they're trailing 16-12 here in the third. They've only lost once all season long. That was in Gainesville to a very good team from Florida. Good swing and a touch that time off of Stumler. Hard swing from Drexel as Hoffman will come back to serve.
Really nice swing by Drexel, and she's so good on both pins. She's got range on both sides of the court, and in that rotation, they like setting her there, and when she's on the right, they want to fling as many balls back to her as well.
Spread offense, Getzinger, the beneficiary of that. What setters were, how much do you appreciate this? They learned this all from you, Selena.
I think so, maybe so. I don't know, that was a long time ago. They weren't born, but I love watching both of these setters play, reversing the flow, getting their hitters in great situations.
Skinner's been struggling a little bit. We'll give you her numbers after a pretty good start. Drexel looking to go high, deep cross court. Here's the younger sister, Maddie, and she's blocked.
So right now, Washington just playing a better out-of-system game than Kentucky is. I mean, that's kind of the bottom line. If they're both going to be out of system right now, Washington has the advantage with the block, with their little bit of patience with their swings at this point in the match.
Avery Skinner in the opening set was 4 for 7. Since then, she's 6 for 22, now 7 for 23 with 5 errors, hitting well below 100.
Well, you know, and that's something they talked about even before this. They know they have a big block in front of them, but they don't want to. They said, we're not going to be afraid of it. We're going to go after it. We're going to do what we normally do. But, you know, sometimes there's 4 huge hands in front of you. You're trying to make something happen there. You're going to make some errors.
Kentucky trailing by 4, tied at a set apiece. Drexel looking high cross court, and that cannot be dug that time by Madison Lilly. You look at the blocking numbers, and one thing that's really impressed me, remember Keegan Cook said hammer hands? The Washington hitters don't get stuffed. They do not get blocked. 7 stuffs, however, for Washington, and a timeout called by Kentucky. What a turnaround. It would look like it was all Kentucky, the number 2 seed. Selima, they led it 9-6 early timeout. They won the opening set 25-18, but then Washington came storming back, and what a job. These Huskies, you can't keep a good dog down. These Huskies are doing, turning it around at the net, blocking just a magnificent job by this big front line.
Well, they're serving tough, and they're forcing Kentucky out of the system as well. So you look at them pressing back into the court. They take away that meat of the court so well, line up perfectly on their attackers, and that's what Washington does well. You got to be careful, and you got to be insistent if you're Kentucky right now.
What a performance and a comeback once again by the Huskies. And for more on that, let's go over to Holly Rowe.
One of the key people right now leading this comeback is Sam Drexel. She leads them in attacking. She's been their senior stud all year long and really kind of their calming heart and soul presence. And Keegan Cook told us it's been a long time coming. She used to be a 3-rotation opposite, and last January he sat her down and said, we need you to carry the load. We need somebody that we can look to, that we can trust their vision, and right now she is carrying that load, and she's been terrific for them so far.
She really has, Holly. 12 kills on 24 swings. Also really defending her position and passing a lot of tough balls. NBA's Friday doubleheader features some of the hottest teams in the NBA. 7:30 Eastern Time. Celtics and the Nets. 10 Eastern Time. It's the Nuggets versus the Warriors. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 7, then at 7:30 and 10 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. And speaking of Drexel, she will be back to the line and serve once again. First team All-American. And misses that into the top of the tape. So take me onto the Kentucky side and their timeout. Craig Skinner, the coach of the year. His team trails by 4. They have rarely been in any kind of position like this season.
Well, I think you just keep talking about controlling the ball 1 point at a time, keeping things under control and not making unforced errors at the net. That's the key right now for Kentucky. Smart when there's a big block in front of you. Hit high hands. Smarter with your shots. They're going to want to work that right side of the court a little bit more too. They're not having the success they'd like on the left side, and they really are playing well on the right side of the court. Excuse me.
Calais on to serve once again. Already has a couple of aces. 20-15 is the lead. Good read by Calais. She's had a big impact on this match. Going high hands, dug by Curry. Quickly to the outside, off the edge of the block. Washington's win in the long rallies, and they're hammering hands.
Tell you what, this ball is so far off the net, but Ella May Powell flings it out there to the pin, keeps them in rhythm, keeps things in system. Even that ball's just a little bit low, but Hoffman does a nice job tooling off the edge of the block.
So impressed with both of these setters. Madison Lilly was magnificent to start with. Her team was passing well. She was just shredding the defense in the opening set. Kentucky wins at 25-18, and then both of them All-American first teamers. Ella May Powell comes right back. Washington has really steadied out, leading it by 5. And that ball drifts just long. 22-16 is the advantage.
I tell you what, I'm not surprised at all with this Washington team and how they normally play. The start they had was uncharacteristic. That's what I would say. And how they're playing now is how you know Washington can play volleyball.
Kentucky has lost 2 straight sets only once this season. That was the 4th and the 5th in the 3-2 loss in Gainesville to Florida. Softly off the block and out of bounds. Salima, I completely agree with you. I'm not surprised the way Washington's playing, but I am surprised the way Kentucky's playing. I think their level has really dropped off.
Well, I think it's been tough. Washington's put a lot of pressure on them, and they're out of system a ton, and even bump setting balls high inside. I think a lot of their out of system sets could be a little bit further out and not force so much to the middle of the court, and they're just working on that right now.
Yeah, I think we still have a long way to go. Stumbler with a serve. They called a double contact that time on Ella May Powell out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. Timeout is called. And speaking of Ella May Powell, when we spoke with Keegan Cook, he said when he was being interviewed for the job after taking over for Jim McLaughlin, who left Washington to go to Notre Dame, he said, what I need is a setter to lead my team like Courtney Thompson, who led Washington to the 2005 national championships, or Bailey Tanner. And he said, that's what I need. So he and then his assistant, Jonathan Widner, who was an All-American setter at Pepperdine and was an assistant at Washington, now the head coach at Fresno State. And that was a good year for setters. You were in the coaching business then. You were recruiting some of these kids.
It's a really good year for setters.
They looked around and they focused in on Ella May Powell. They thought that she was the setter with the volleyball skills and the leadership talent to lead this program back to national prominence, and she has certainly fulfilled that. First team All-American, and still with one more season to go. Incredibly impressed with the quality of play right around the dial, all the positions, but the setting in this tournament has been tremendous.
It's phenomenal. It's so fun to watch, and as a setter myself, just watching how the the position has evolved and how much more they're doing, how much more athletic a lot of these setters are, and just flinging the ball around and the ability to reverse the flow and locate. It's just super impressive and fun to watch. It's a pleasure to watch.
In the second half of our semifinal, Wisconsin is led by Sydney Hilly, first-team All-American once again. And then Jenna Gabriel. Jenna Gabriel was a second-team All-American. I think that she is the most improved setter in the country among the top teams. Jenna Gabriel has done a tremendous job. Setter of the year in the Big 12 Conference. That's coming up. Number 1 seed Wisconsin against number 4 seed Texas. The lead is 4. Hoffman looking to go high hands, dug by Stumler. Skinner is still really struggling. Tentative on the outside, number 4, and White going to get another look. Boy, that was a much-needed kill, obviously for Kentucky, but really for Avery Skinner.
It really was, but I tell you, you look at Washington, hit those balls high up the hands, force Kentucky off the net a little bit, and those are the balls she's struggling with. Any of those long bump sets and out-of-system plays. When she's in rhythm and in system, she's really good right now.
Easy serve right to Drexel, right in her lap. Skinner again, a lot of off speed. Drexel as well. Both teams playing smart, playing conservatively, and that one just waterfalls down through the block, and number 4 in White Skinner, back-to-back kills.
It's all about patience right now. All about patience. Controlling the ball, not making errors, winning those long rallies.
Washington has 1 timeout remaining. Kentucky is out of timeouts. The officials thought that Keegan Cook was signaling for a timeout. He was telling his receivers where to move to. Said, I got to be able to talk to my players.
Let's see if we've got something out of the back row here, or moving around a little bit.
That was nice offense. That ball looked. There was a net violation. There was all kinds of stuff going on. But remember, Washington's out of challenges.
Yep. Wow.
The officials missed a net violation.
That's tough.
Well, especially because the Huskies have no challenges.
You'll see Keegan Cook over there talking to Julie.
Wow.
Super frustrated.
22-21.
See it on this play.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That is a huge break for the Kentucky Wildcats. Timeout called by Washington. Both teams out of timeouts. And that bagel over there on the side of, remember I mentioned in the others in the second set, Washington being out of timeouts this early in a long match. He called that third challenge at 10-8. Obviously a net violation against Zani Teeler in the middle, but look, players missed calls, the officials missed one, but no challenges available for Washington.
And let's not forget, Washington will get one back if it does go 5. But right now, you're right. This is where we are.
Remember that if this does go 5, Washington will get an additional challenge, but not till then. If they win it, if they're battling in 4, it doesn't do them any good. Allie Stumler has been carrying the load. All-American first team once again out of Floyd's Knob, Indiana. Hitting .395 so far in the tournament, and in this semifinal, the first ever, Salima, for Kentucky, having another big night.
Well, she's just been so good, and it's her range and her vision. I talk about this all the time when I watch Kentucky. She has every single shot in the book, and she sees it. She sees the block. She sees the floor defense. She knows exactly where she's going with the ball, and just a phenomenal player, Allie Stumler, in all 6 rotations.
Double-double once again, with Tokyo in mind, and then Paris coming up in a couple of years' time. I think many players in this national semifinal you'll see again at that level. They're all that good. On the slide again, good touch by Teeler. Looking for the tie. And they've got it, 22-all.
What a nice transition play there, but it started with the block touch. Teeler and Skinner on that set that was kind of in that in-between zone on the slide. Nice job, and then a fast transition to the pin.
Tied at 22, 5-0 run for Kentucky. One-on-one to the outside. Pretty good touch that time by Lily. Good read and throw down that time by Ella Mae Powell.
I was waiting for either one of them. They both are pretty offensive-minded setters, and that's really the first actual offensive dump on a perfect pass that we've seen. It's nice to see her throw that ball down. Perfect timing.
Skinner, good block touch, transition opportunity. Skinner again through the block and down through the hands of Drexel of Washington.
It's the quality touches on the other side of the net right now. That's what's going on. Controlling the ball, keeping the team in system on the Kentucky side.
Skinner picking it up a little bit. She had really gone into a drought, and that's 3 kills in our last 3 swings. Tied at 23. Got to win by 2. Tied at 1 set apiece. A chance for Kentucky to come all the way back and take the lead. Oh, and they do. What Ella Mae Powell can do, Madison Lilly can match, and now it's set points for Kentucky.
Madison Lilly loves this play.
Ooh.
Good at setting that ball and just throwing it over the net.
Set point. Skinner for the lead. Salima Rockwell, what a comeback by Kentucky.
Unbelievable rally on the side of Kentucky. Washington in control of that set, but man, they came back and took care of it.
And Avery Skinner really stepped up. 5 kills during that 9-1 run. The Wildcats lead it. 2 sets to 1. But Waze or MapQuest,
we didn't quite get those.
was totally offline because this has been a strange trip.
It's been a very strange trip, but a fun one. Super high level of volleyball right now. What you're seeing on both sides of the court, managing the ball, hitting high hands, controlling the ball on defense, and it's just a battle. And exactly what I was hoping for. Like you said, it's not going as quite as we thought, but it is an unbelievable battle right now here in the semifinal.
Let's send it over to Holly Rowe once again with more on Kentucky.
Well, we told you about the resilience of Washington and all the 5-set matches they've been in. Well, how about Kentucky? That is the largest deficit in a set that they have had to come back from all year, and they were able to do it there in a crucial set 3.
Well, a good time for them to become the comeback kids instead of Washington, and the Washington Huskies opening with an early nice pass and side out kill. Middles still being very, very much involved, although not late towards the end of that 3rd set. Maria Bogomolova on to serve once again. One of the big stories of this tournament, leading that comeback for the Huskies over Louisville, trailing 7-1 and 11-7 in the 5th. Quick set to the outside, and for Stumler, that's her first kill since the 2nd set. She was 0 for 5 in the 3rd. Very, very unusual for Allie Stumler, first-team All-American and a tremendous player.
Well, Washington was doing a lot to prevent her from getting the ball as well. They're very strategic with what they're doing right now, wanting Avery Skinner to hit more balls, although she really stepped up to the challenge towards the end of that set.
A little bit of a touch, yeah, once again a kill out of the middle, this time by Maren Grote. And remember, and how big was it? Because we saw that no call when Azani Teeler netted. Washington is out of challenges until the 5th set. Huge.
Huge.
Teeler ripping off the edge of the block.
Nice job on the Kentucky side. And we can't forget that Walker comes in and passes in that rotation, has really done a nice job holding it down. They're subbing Avery Skinner out because she was getting in trouble in that rotation with that line-to-line serve.
Hoffman through the hands, kept alive. High hands, hammer them, just like their head coach Keegan Cook said.
That's it, and it's Crenshaw's just cleaning stuff up in the back row. I think she's doing such a nice job for Washington right now defensively. The block's controlling it, but she's taking care of that whole left back towards the middle back corner of the court.
Hoffman back to serve, having a very nice match, taking some tough swings. Teeler, that ball is stuffed. Another block. That was a rare miss set that time by Madison Lilly, but back to Hoffman. 9 kills on 34 swings, most of them against a well-formed block and defense. Quickly to the perimeter and thrown right back at you by Grote.
It's a nice move by Maren Grote. Gets to the outside, waits for it, sees the tip coming. You see her wait for it and throw it back down. Not let that tip get past the block.
8 stuff blocks now for the Huskies. Good pass. That was a really tough serve. And once again, Azani Teeler has got a whip of an arm and found the low seam.
When you look, you'll see Ensley make this move. The ball's a little bit outside the antenna, but she needs to drop back in the cross court, and she gets all the way to the pin. A little too far. And Teeler facing that cross court.
A serve now for Kentucky, turning the tables on Washington, which had been really leading in that category. Washington with 7 aces. Kentucky now with 5, make it 6, but most of those coming very early. Oh, right in the deep corner.
I'd like to see you do that again.
That's why they call it the coffin corner. Balls go there to die. Down the line, nicely done once again by number 9, Samantha Drexel, 6'4" senior out of Woodinville, Washington, first team All Pac-12 and first team All-American. Stumler really solid in receive. Isn't she a wonderful all-around player?
Such a good player. Handles the ball. She's calm what she does when she touches the ball and serve receive. Tracks it really well. Nice job. Nice set out by Kentucky.
Avery Skinner, number 4. Her younger sister Maddie Skinner, number 2. Up front now for Kentucky. Maddie Skinner ripping off the right. She just looks like a natural right-sider.
She's comfortable, the flight of that ball. She does a nice job getting off the net. She works hard in transition. Look at her get her feet set. Just a nice little step close. Cracks this ball across her body into the cross court. Interesting, there was some thought that Maddie Skinner might not follow in her sister's footsteps. That ball is rejected. Nice move by Avery Skinner. That Maddie might not follow Avery to Kentucky, and that the team that might get her was Washington. And Avery said, there's no way my little sister's going there. No chance.
Kentucky on top 7-6. Oh, another block. Back to back, this time by Getzinger.
Tell you what, nice. They're working this half of the court, forcing this ball down the line, which is pushing the pass forward a little bit, and they're able to get their block set exactly where they wanted it to go. You see a shift in the block.
Trying to search things out on the right side. What a nice delivery under pressure by LMA Powell to get Washington out of that rotation.
And you said it there, that's all Powell. Controlling the offense, running it with pace and with tempo.
Stumler is right in the middle of the serve-receive pattern, so they work the edges down the sideline. Perfect pass. And they leave Getzinger.
Well, I mean, I get it. She's not getting a ton of swings right now. You got to take some chances. You look at what do they have, who have they been setting in each rotation. And you see Sanders just take a little bit of a move like she's going to go outside and can't dive back in on Getzinger.
That's part of the game that's played. The blockers, it's not man-on-man defense. Tough serve again, just out of bounds. Fourth set, Kentucky the number 2 seeds on top. 2-1 over the 6th seed from Washington. And it's been all about runs and comebacks except for the second set. And even that was about a run, quite frankly. Kentucky went on a 12-5 run to take the opening set. just out of bounds. Teams exchanging really tough serves right just past the end line.
Well, and they're going after it. They both know they need to. They have to force each other off the net, and that's where you're going to see a couple of missed serves here.
Good overhand reception that time, and down the line once again by Hoffman.
Yeah, I like her stepping up, taking that ball. They're serving deep. Might as well take it with your hands, and it's a perfect pass, but a pass to an attack. And that's what Hoffman does so well. She's so comfortable and smooth in that position.
Defensive numbers starting to add up now for both of these teams, given to you in a minute. Lily's got 13 digs. Gabby Curry's got 16, and nobody's digging that. Azani Taylor detonating that time out of the middle.
Unbelievable swing here. Perfect pass. Great overhead shot here. You see she's coming, drifting to this side of the court, and then cuts it back past her body. Washington block does exactly what they're supposed to do. Take away one shot, can't dig the other.
Perfect pass creates a seam. Nice dig by Curry, her 17th. On the slide, what a good reach. Washington dives, and now Stumler. Perfect execution.
That's exactly what you want it to look like. Stumler's so good at this dive move at the net. You watch her track the hitter, and she times it perfectly, taking her swing block approach at the exact same time as the hitter.
Third scoring block for Kentucky in this set. That ball's hit out of bounds. Washington's in trouble. They need a timeout, trailing 13-9. What a comeback by Kentucky. They lead it 2-1.
And we can look back in that third set, and the difference maker, this missed net call was a huge play. Washington out of challenges, couldn't do anything about that. Then a flurry of points by the Kentucky team. Huge kill, a dump, and Avery Skinner to finish that set.
Azani Taylor, after she netted, and she knew she'd netted, she looked a little guilty for a moment, but then the play continued.
That's right.
No remorse, however, just ripping that ball to score in between the blockers. Coming out of the timeout, boy, Washington was intense in that huddle. And I just mean in terms of their togetherness. They were arm in arm, and they said, look, have we been here before? No kidding.
This is what we do.
9 5-set matches on the year. Their overall record is 7-2. They're the first team ever in NCAA tournament history to win 3 straight 5-set matches to make it into the semis. Stumler, nice chop down the line.
I tell you, she handled that well. Again, that's the rotation. She's running across the court. Has to handle this serve that's kind of coming right at her head and still can transition and get a kill.
The offense for Kentucky kind of back where it's been throughout the course of the year and the tournament. 331 now on the match. 636 in this set. Good pass by Hoffman. Into the antenna. Unforced error by Drexel.
See if they keep working this zone one, trying to force this ball on this side of the court, keep them from running any middle or setting behind. That would be the goal.
Tight pass, trouble there. Back row blocker that time. Good call by the official, LMA Powell. 16-10 is the advantage. Washington has 1 timeout remaining. Kentucky, as you can see, the bars underneath their number 2 seed. They have both of theirs left. Washington's got to stop this right now. What a block that time. Nice save. Beautiful stretch by Crenshaw. Ball set a little bit too low. Drexel couldn't get a good swing. Did that ball? Oh, the ball is called out of bounds, and there was a touch off the block, and now the advantage is 17-10. Timeout is called. Salima, remember, at the end of the third set, it was Washington with a 5-point advantage, 20-15. Since then, it's been all Kentucky.
It has. They're definitely more comfortable right now, playing at a high level, have figured out what Washington's trying to do, getting them out of system, have steadied out passing-wise as well. But Washington, we know they can come back. All they need is to control their pass, keep the pass off the net a little bit, and then they can side out.
We know they can come back, but more importantly, they know they can come back. For the 42nd straight year, the NFL Draft is on ESPN. You can also watch it on NFL Network, and the Game Day crew will cover it from the college perspective over on ABC. It all comes to you April 29th through May 1st with all 3 days on ESPN Deportes and ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Paul Sunderland in Omaha, Nebraska. Salima Rockwell and I have been covering this tournament throughout from the very first and second round. We've been doing it remotely. Salima, we've been spending way too much time together, but it's great to actually see you in person here in Omaha. And the championship match will be coming up on Saturday. That's over on ESPN2. The winner of this will take on the winner of Wisconsin and Texas to follow. Your thoughts quickly on the second semifinal.
Oh, I think it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a high-flying, tons of firepower on both sides of the net. I'm looking forward to see both these teams play. It's a toss-up. It's going to be a wild one.
You know, usually I'd get on you a little bit for not making a pick.
I don't need to make a pick.
You don't?
Nope.
Well, it's a pick 'em. I mean, the line in Vegas is flat.
Nope.
Coming out of the timeout, Stumler will continue to serve. Washington has to stop this right now. Washington has been outscored 15-5 since they led 5-2 at the beginning of this set. Must win for Washington. Teeler again. What a block one-on-one. What a move by Drexel.
And that was a huge move. Teeler saw it, knew she had one blocker after a great block touch, transition to the right side. That's exactly what Kentucky wanted to do with Drexel. So good at that move.
Washington got to have it. Ball left a little inside, but Drexel cleaning that up. Nice swing through the seam.
Washington staying patient here, doing what they do, controlling the ball. Powell putting the ball right where it needs to go. Drexel seeing that area in the court.
Drexel now with 16 kills, 35 swings to get there. Quickly to the outside. Off speed, LMA Powell was there. Smart shot, and Avery Skinner, who was really struggling, has been rock solid for Kentucky over the last set and a half.
Well, and a really nice tip because it's not super short. You see Powell kind of crash up, and it's in that in-between place down the line where she couldn't quite come up with it.
Right side again, going to the hot hitter Drexel. That ball dug and out of bounds. That's smart setting.
Absolutely. That's what she wants to do. They're trying to force her to not do that with that ball coming over her head from the right side of the court, but Powell's so good getting that ball from any position on the court, flinging it back there.
Fifth national semifinal for the Huskies, first ever for the Wildcats of Kentucky. Oh, chance here. Hoffman ran in and the ball went deep. Wow.
Well, that's tough. She may have thought it was going to be some kind of a shot, but with that well-formed block, middle back, stay deep, play that ball high off the hands, let everybody else get the garbage.
Three hitters up front now with Lily rotating. Player of the year. Setter to the back court. Right side again. And why not? Just set Drexel every time.
I mean, what a blast. I mean, that's the thing. You can hit high hands, and then you can hit high hands that is impossible to run down. And that's what Drexel does.
Well, it's really tough to block Washington. They do not hit down into the block. They don't do you any favors. They're following their coach's instructions and hammer in hands. Good serve down the line and a perfect pass. Skinner again. Ball was dug but out of bounds. Net violation, but give another kill to the senior Avery Skinner, who spent the entire year, the only time she's not wearing a boot on her left ankle is when she's in volleyball practice or in a match. She's had a stress reaction in her left ankle all season long, and their season started in September. Kentucky 5 points away, but Washington, we all know that, is not going to go quietly.
Smart shot by Lauren Sanders. Tipping that ball to the middle of the court. They can do that. They can score down the line. They can score kind of in that middle of the court area, and I think they know exactly where they can place the ball if they can control it.
Calais come on, number 5 in purple for Washington, and done a really nice job defensively. Skinner. Oh, just too hard, just too deep.
And see that ball hits off the outside hand of Hoffman. She makes that move. She tries to drop into the cross court, but she kind of hits that line angle. We call that the Langle down the line.
Love the Langle.
I like the Langle. It's a great shot.
Maddie Skinner now with 12 kills. Older sister Avery with 19. Oh, a big block. That might have just about done it. Washington doesn't get stuff straight down very often, but that was straight down to the floor.
What a move, and that's the right hand of Maddie Skinner doing a nice job there on that perfect pass.
Off the tip, Pancake kept the ball alive. Kentucky 3 points away. Now Kentucky is 2 points away. First ever regional final, first ever national semifinal. 2 more points and they'll be in the championship match against either Texas or Wisconsin, the number 1 and 4 seeds respectively, still to come. Sanders ripping, what a dig. That dug by Lilly. Just one haymaker after another. Both teams going toe-to-toe, and LMA Powell off the defense and the block and out of bounds.
So I love watching the defense of both of these teams, just controlling the touches, flying around, making quality touches, no matter where they are in the court. But I tell you what,
look who's coming back to serve. Can Maria Bogomolova dial up some Husky magic once again? Not this time. Azani Teeler will give the Kentucky Wildcats 8 match points. Kentucky has been huge in this 4th set, hitting 565, now at 345 for the match. Stumler for the win. Just out of bounds. What a quality swing. The level and the quality of play has been very, very high. Streaky at times, but both of these teams are rock solid. Kentucky, 2nd match point. To Stumler again. Off the block and down, and Kentucky's moving on.
What a performance by the Kentucky Wildcats, coming back and forth. What a match, and an absolutely unbelievable run by Washington this season, getting to this national semifinal and pushing Kentucky as hard as they possibly could and gave them all they had, but it was Kentucky that came away with the victory, playing in the national final on Saturday.
Well, once this match sort of settled in, the first set was won easily by Kentucky, but after that, it was a real scrap. But remember, it was not without controversy. If Washington has a challenge, can they turn things around in that 3rd set? Very, very interesting indeed. But all credit to Kentucky. They've been the best offensive team in the country. Not by a huge margin. Wisconsin and Texas are right there, but they end up hitting 340. Avery Skinner, who was really struggling for a while, leads them with 19 kills. Maddie Skinner, younger sister, with 13. Azani Teeler hits for another outstanding percentage. They're just so very efficient, and they will be going on to their first ever national championship match. That's coming up on Saturday against either Wisconsin or Texas. They are still to come. A complete team effort. They've got a wonderful group of players that are very, very tight, incredibly competitive, and they needed all of that to close it out 3-1. And I guess the magic just ran out, Salima, on the Washington Huskies, and Kentucky was just too good, particularly at the offensive end.
You know, and that's the deal. They figured it out. They set it out again. They had to do it a couple of times during the match, figured it out, and were just too much at the end.
Drexel leads the way for the Washington Huskies with 18 kills. Claire Hoffman, congratulations to Washington once again as they depart this championship. Let's go over to Holly Rowe with the National Player of the Year and going to play in the finals, Madison Lilly.
Well, Madison, this was such a dramatic match. You guys had not dropped a set all year. So what was going on in that huddle after that loss in the third where you really had to find something and dig deep?
Definitely. I think we just talked about playing with confidence, and when we play Kentucky volleyball, we know what the result will be. So they serve really tough. They're a really good serving team, so we were out of system a lot, and our lefts found a way to get it done. But just staying confident and competing as hard as we can.
You guys had to get some adjustments throughout this match, and one of them was finding Avery in that fourth set. What were you doing to get her more involved down the stretch?
Definitely. We're working on high hands all the time in practice, and that was shown a lot today, which is exciting when you work so hard and practice on things. But just spreading the offense, trying to get our middles involved tonight. But Avery killed it, and I thought we were pretty balanced. We might not have been looking at the box score, but it felt good, and I'm excited.
You guys are trying to do something that's never been done before. Tonight was a first step. You've never been in this position before. How were you able to remain calm and composed in this moment?
Definitely. I think as seniors, we've been talking about just staying in the moment as much as we can, and also putting ourselves in these moments. 8 months ago, we were talking about when we're in the national championship match, when we're doing this, when we're doing that. So in our minds, we've already been here. So that makes it even more exciting, and we're really excited with where we're at and excited to play on Saturday.
Well, how about this? When we see you in the national championship,
Absolutely.
We'll have a great time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madison Lilly, you've seen this match in your minds. Now it will be reality. Kentucky has moved on. They will take on either Texas or Wisconsin. That match is scheduled for 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time right here on ESPN, once again between Texas and Wisconsin. Congratulations to Washington. Won the Pac-12 championship. They made a magnificent and dramatic run throughout the course of this tournament, but Kentucky in the end, just too many weapons. So Kentucky continues to make history. They will be moving on to their first ever national championship match. Lots of drama, lots of controversy as well. We'll go to break, and on the other side, we'll send it to Sam and Katie to look forward to the upcoming second semifinal.